Contrary to popular beliefs, this film isn't actually about house rodents, which was kind of awkward whenever I showed this to my 6-year-old niece. You know, they have to learn one day. Yes, today I am covering quite a notorious film in the kind of, genre I usually cover. I'm really trying hard not to say the disturbing word because it lost all of its meaning with that iceberg that already came out like 3 years ago. Time flies when you're having fun. And by that I mean, of course, the infamous series from Japan, the Guinea Pig films. And today I'm covering the sequel, Flower of Flesh and Blood. Now you're probably like, what happened, Spooky? Why don't you cover the first one? Quite frankly, it's fucking boring. And that's why. Honestly, I don't know who has it worse, the lady in that film or us for spending our hard-earned cash on such a piece of shit. No offense if you like it, I'm just not a fan. But the second one offers us something completely different while staying quite similar. And by that, I mean it drops the pseudo-snuff aspect, which you would think I'd love, but honestly, if my pseudo-snuff films don't have a competent story around them, I don't really care. And it goes for a more cinematic, traditional type of film, while still being shot on video. And I was worried about not having enough to say about this film, because whenever you see reviews of this franchise, they usually cover the 6 films, because, well, they're quite short. This one is 42 minutes, and most of it is torturing a helpless woman. I hope my parents don't watch these videos, they'll really worry about me. If they were still alive. Anyways, what is this film about? It's quite simple. We start with a backstory. We have some scrolling text that explains to us that this is actually based on a true story. And just like most blockbuster movies that say that, it's completely made up. This time it's about a mangaka who received an 8mm film of an actual snuff film, and this film is a pseudo-documentary that tries to reproduce whatever that mangaka saw. Okay. And it starts with this kind of voyeuristic camera following this young lady around Japan, and of course, she gets kidnapped. Whenever she wakes up, we are presented with the setting of the rest of the film, and it's quite a creepy one. You kind of have this modern art painting, which modern art is just another word for shitty, on the wall, and then you have these blood stains, and you can hear water drop. I don't even know why I'm trying. I know I can't do it. I'm such a fucking failure at everything. And our victim is attached to a bed that kind of looks dirty, and you can imagine that, the mattress is mainly made of springs, that type of mattress that, your friend tosses you when you're 16 and drunk, and, you have to tolerate because you decided to smoke marijuana for the first time, and you think of your lover and you start crying, and then you fucking I really need to seek medical help. And the start of this film is quite tense, and then the camera tilts up and we are revealed who our killer will be. And it's this goofy ass looking guy that has his face painted white, some of his teeth are sharpened to, make it look like he doesn't have them, and he's wearing a samurai hat. Kind of takes you out of the intense situation that you just saw. But honestly, that's what makes this film fun, because if it was just like the first one, these two typical assholes who are really memorable, you just have another one of these films. But instead, you have this weird samurai serial killer who whacks poetics and sings. Yes, he sings. I'll come back to that later. Anyway, he is sharpening his murder tools, and then he takes out a cock. Not his penis, you dirty-minded freaks, a literal cock, a chicken. And then he cuts off the head of the chicken, that flies right into the face of our victim, she's crying, and then the chicken is like spraying out blood like it's a 70s samurai film. It's quite glorious, and I do appreciate the fact that they didn't actually kill a chicken. I mean, they're Japanese, not Italian, let's be honest. And then our killer goes to do his concoction that will basically put our victim to sleep for the entire film. However, she's not only asleep, she does feel the pain, but she enjoys it, which makes it 2 films about enjoying pain that I've covered in the last 2 weeks. Also, they're both Japanese. And then he undresses his victim with scissors, and basically from now on, I can't show anything from this movie. It's almost as if the people making this were like, yes, in 40 years some cynical Canadian asshole is gonna try to talk shit about our movie, but you know, we will show nudity and blood so he won't be able to. I still will. So the rest of the movie goes exactly where you think the rest of the movie will go. He experiments on the lady by chopping her to bits. And yes, the gore is incredible and it aged pretty well. It's still really believable, but I can't really discuss anything more. And in between is a chopping session. He again wax poetically about flowers, blood, glooming, is that the word? No, that's grooming. That's the thing that Drake does. But you know, when flowers grow. Eventually, he chops her head off, puts it on her torso, and he's done. And then, like any good man who just finished a project, he's sitting on the bed with the victim, that, by the way, is just chopped to bits at this point, just smoking a cigarette. Good work today, boys. Really chopped that bitch up. And then he shows off to nobody, because the girl's dead, his previous art projects, and then he starts singing, and there's a lot of worms, and it's fucking nasty. And then the film ends. Voila. So, what did I think of Guinea Pig 2 Flower of Flesh and Blood? Well, I honestly really enjoyed it. Yes, it can get tedious, like, you know, a lot of these films. It's basically you're just watching a madman chop off a girl and then the end, which can get pretty tedious. However, the effects are really good. It's surprisingly very well shot and very, like, you know, there's the use of color, and I don't know what kind of video technology was in Japan during that time, but holy shit, does it look way better than our 80s shot on video films. The main character, that samurai that waxes poetic, is incredible and a very much welcome addition to this type of film. At least you have a personality instead of just somebody, you know, drugging a lady and chopping her off. Other than that, I'd recommend you, if you're interested in the Guinea Pig franchise, to start with this one. It's really fun, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and there's a samurai that chops off the head of a chicken and then the lady. And there's lots of blood. Anyways, see you guys next time.